Salvete! Can you learn a foreign language using the grammar translation approach? When I was in high school, and that was a long time ago, I studied French from books that use the grammar translation approach. We spent about 60 minutes once a week studying the French language. And that's one of the problems. We didn't spend enough time studying French. But that's beside the point and not what I'm here to talk about. My name's Harold Allman. You came here for an answer, so let's proceed. The number one problem with the grammar translation approach is that there's too much English in these books. You'll find a lot of instructions that are written in English. You'll find a lot of text that's written in English, and you'll find some French in there, but not that much. So that's the first problem. Too much English. When you got too much English, what are you doing? You're practicing the English language. I'm already an English speaker at that point in time. I wasn't in that class to learn English, but essentially that's what we were learning. The second problem with the grammar translation approach is that a lot of these books use vocabulary lists. And so if you don't understand a word, you just go to the vocabulary list and you look up its English meaning. So you don't learn the meaning of the French word from the context inside of a piece of text or audio. You learn it from a vocabulary list. That just, from my experience, doesn't work out too well. All right, so that's the second problem. The third problem with the grammar translation approach is that there's too little French, or too little of the target language that you're learning. So if you want to acquire a foreign language, you should be trying to immerse yourself in that foreign language and avoid your native tongue. So for me, I should be avoiding the English language. And that was a big problem with the grammar translation approach. Fourth problem with the books that use the grammar translation approach is that they're just too complicated. Some of them start off easy, some of them start off at a medium level of difficulty, and some of them, like Wheelock's Latin, start off hard. Wheelock's Latin is probably the most popular book used to teach the Latin language. And I think it's one of the worst that you could use to try and learn that language. I saw it in a used bookstore. I didn't buy it because after reading the first 3 pages, it was going to be apparent that I would last about 1 week before giving up trying to learn the Latin language. Instead, I found another book which was also hard called Lingua Latina, but actually doing it the hard way without studying grammar and without using vocabulary lists is actually the easy way. So use the natural method for learning a language. A fifth problem with the grammar translation approach is that there's too much emphasis on grammar. English teachers who are teaching the foreign language, they kind of like this because they understand the grammar and they're capable of teaching it, and it gives them something to teach. And they can have students fill in the blanks, they can do their declensions, they can do their tenses, past, present, future, pluperfect, or whatever tense that they're studying. So it gives the instructor some kind of a content to present to the students. The sixth problem with the grammar translation approach is, who does it benefit? Who does it benefit? Was it written for the students? It probably was, but at the time that was probably the best method of learning a language. And then we had just groundbreaking textbooks by Rafael Cortina, who wrote Spanish in Spanish, and that was available in some other languages also, and that was using the natural method. Then Hans Orberg improved upon it and wrote Lingua Latina using the natural method. So who benefits from these grammar translation books? Well, I think it's really the instructors, because they can teach grammar and they can have you do all of these exercises, and it gives them something to present to the students. If you're doing the natural method of learning a language, I think it's harder to come up with a curriculum. So I think that the biggest beneficiaries of the grammar translation approach are teachers. I don't think it was intended that way, but that's just the way it turned out. And they may be avoiding the natural method, because you can actually do the natural method without going to school. That's how I learned Latin. I just had a book and I had some MP3s. So there you have it. 6 problems with the grammar translation approach. By the way, did you figure out what that word was at the beginning that I said? I bet you did. Did I tell you what it was? Was it in a vocabulary list? You figured it out from the context. So good job. By the way, if you like the video, please subscribe to this channel, and I always appreciate a thumbs up. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.